Gotham is yours. None shall interfere. Do as you please.
So this isn't something I was going to cover, but then I looked at how well the last time I did this topic. So apparently there is still drama between Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves, the director of the movie, and apparently it's quite big. This is coming courtesy of Grace Randolph, so the source is a little bit better, I guess. So what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. Check it out on Instagram at Warstu and Twitter, WarstuG, aka The Maverick, and also check us out on twitch.tv/Warstu. So we did a video on the Batman wrapping in March. So it's wrapped, it's finished. And then we spoke about the Zoe and Robert getting pregnant situation, which is absolutely hilarious. No, I don't like making videos like this, but you guys, for some reason, seem to love it. I've had this topic really requested an awful lot in the last week or so. So I was sent over to an article posted by cosmicbooknews.com, and to be fair, they're getting much better. They're just sourcing the quotes from other websites. It's not actually their story. Essentially, it says Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson actually have hatred. They literally hate each other, which is pretty damn ridiculous. Or is it? I don't know. Robert Pattinson seems to be a bit of a troll, and Matt Reeves seems to be a bit of a control freak to a certain degree. So let's digress and actually read what was said. Now, it says here, whilst covering the new DC Batman animated show, which has Matt Reeves involved, YouTuber Grace Randolph said she's heard it is true that Reeves and Pattinson don't get along. Now, if this is true, I'm not saying it is, it's not necessarily a bad thing. They're both professionals. Just because they don't get on doesn't mean they can't get to the end goal, which is shooting the movie, which they've done. Obviously, there's post-production and there will be reshoots, which people will make massive dramas about, but in fact, every movie production has reshoots scheduled before they even start shooting. So according to Grace, now, I don't know if she said this, but it's a quote. So here, let's read this article. So Matt Reeves is in the Batman business. He's making a Batman live-action TV show. He's making a Batman movie. And now he's making a Batman animated series. He is now the Batman guy. I hope he did a really good job, said Grace Randolph, who was then asked by a fan about the problems between Reeves and Pattinson. I did hear this is true, that Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson are not friends. You don't have to be friends with people you work with. You just work colleagues. I heard it was an alarming extent that they are not friends. Now, this is really interesting that people are actually interested by this. This is the only reason I'm covering it. Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson are not friends. Randolph continued by mentioning she hopes that everything gets worked out and that we can add that if the Batman is a big success, more than likely the drama and problems won't matter. But it kind of will. If you're building a massive franchise and they are trying to reboot Batman with Robert Pattinson, but he's not going to get on with a director to the point where they hate each other. Now, Grace is very hit and miss. Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern was never true. She misses quite a lot, but when she hits really hard. When she misses really hard. So it's kind of a take it with a pinch of salt when it comes from Grace. But I can't believe they would be so against each other and they would endanger the franchise. So let's just hope and see what happens, said Randolph. But it's funny to me that Matt Reeves is all in for Batman, yet he and his star pretty much hate each other. Interesting indeed. I think there should be no negativity around the project. Everybody is so excited about the trailer. It just blew the lid off the fandom. I don't want any more drama around DC projects. I really don't. So I hope they can squash it behind the scenes. These rumors have offered that Matt Reeves wasn't happy about Robert Pattinson refused to work out, which alleged caused not only delays, but Pattinson faked the you-know-what in order to have time off to try and bulk up. Rumors have also stated that Reeves is a big control freak on set, that Pattinson had pushed past his breaking point. Well, to be fair, guys, if you're a Hollywood director, you are literally going to be a control freak because you want to control what happens in said movie, because generally it's the director that would take the biggest hit if a movie is bad, and then the actors will, essentially. And then there's this even more ridiculous article. We're not even going to go over that, but yeah, this essentially it's the ridiculous article about Zoe and Robert getting on. It comes from some person called Doomscock, but I pretty much don't think it's true. But on this article, it says that, yeah, they've been butting heads throughout the whole production. Yeah, there's been no official, no unofficial kind of rumblings other than Grace Randolph saying things like this. So I was asked, is this true? And I don't know if it's true. I'm not going to reach out to anyone to ask them this because this is pretty ridiculous. They've already finished principal photography. So all that's left is post-production, VFX, additional photography, aka the reshoot. It is an interesting subject, and the Batman Batman 2020 is a very interesting subject. We recently got some new information came out. Batman fans think Paul Dano, who's playing Riddler, is inspired by the Zodiac Killer in this leaked image. So there's an image going around of the Riddler, which to me doesn't even look anything like the Riddler. It's the same one with the calendar, the Batman official 2022 calendar. And I guess you can make some little tidbits from the images, but we're not going to make any tidbits from the image. So, but a lot of people seem to think that it's inspired by the Zodiac Killer. So wait, while I was gone, people were slandering Riddler's design. It's the best Riddler design we've had in years. It's honestly so creepy and cool. Comic accuracy does not matter for these designs. Well, that's true. It doesn't really have to be comic accurate. But yeah, a lot of people on the tweets are saying it's inspired by the Zodiac Killer. And to be fair, it's not really a high-res image. I mean, if you compare it to other variations of the Riddler, it's very different, and it is clear that this movie will stand out from every other Batman interpretation and every other interpretation of the Riddler, which is actually a good thing. It's not a cheap copy and paste, but whether the Riddler is inspired by the Zodiac Killer, we don't actually know that, do we? Unless there's some people blowing smoke where smoke isn't needed. And yeah, what do we mean? We mean Robert Pattinson's Batmobile has flame exhaust and bright lights in new image. And what is the image? It's just one of them pictures from the calendar. So a lot of these Batman 2020 leaks, they're not really leaks, to be honest. It's just promotional images that have come out a bit earlier, but everyone likes to put the kind of the YouTuber leak word around because it's the YouTube thing to do. Robert Pattinson's Batsuit hidden details revealed by the Bat statue. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But does it actually reveal anything? Not really. Not. The latest leak related to Batman and the Batsuit isn't in fact an image or a piece of art, but rather a statue. Rendered, created by Prime One Studios, the statue was inspired by the promo art done by Jim Lee. And what does it show us? Not an awful lot, to be fair. Indeed, the statue is an amazing piece of art crafted with meticulous attention to detail. The more interesting aspects of the new Batsuit, of course, include the cowl, which is made of leather and appears crudely stitched together in keeping with the homemade aesthetics that appear to dominate Reeves' vision of Gotham. There was also Batman insignia worked into the chest plate that appears to have been crafted from a gun, leading to speculation that Batman himself made the insignia out of the weapon used by Joe Chill to kill his parents. Something similar happened in the comics. It is, of course, being noted that the new Batsuit is heavily armored compared to previous iterations of the costume, and that came across strongly in the new Prime One Studio statue. Batman obviously can't go into detail battle without plenty of weapons, so the statue shows him sporting dart throwers on his gauntlet, as well as loads of equipment on his utility belt, and in his right arm he holds a trusty grappling hook gun. Of course, this isn't official. I don't know if it's actually done by, I guess you can say, I don't know if it's sanctioned by DC, but I know Prime One Studios work closely with companies, so it could be actually published by DC, so we don't know if it's real, but it looks pretty damn cool. I'll overlay some images right now. So like always, guys, let us know, do you think Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson had some crazy beef? Grace Randolph's getting in the mix by saying, yeah, they absolutely hate each other, which I kind of find hard to believe. Do you think the Riddler's new look is inspired by the Zodiac Killer? And what do you think of this Batman statue? So like always, guys, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest and greatest pop culture based news, whether it be the Monsterverse, the Marvelverse, the DCverse, the Warstu-verse, the Hamada-verse, the Snyderverse, the pop culture verse. Anyway, guys, make sure to check us out on the social medias on YouTube. Subscribe if you can, it help the channel grow. Also check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. Also check us out on Instagram at Warstu. And I'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.